Oh, my goodness. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into the Open Podcast. I'm Hunter Boris.
And I am Forrest Poppin. Oh, my goodness. This is such a special episode we have today. We have two
You guys got way too much energy.
enormous guests.
Way too much.
We love it. We love it. This is the best part of our week. This is the best. And we do have two incredible guests. We have one of our best friends in comedy, Caleb McCraw, and we have the godfather of Zanies, Mr. Andrew Dorfman. Everybody, please give it up for these beautiful faces.
Clap it up for me.
Oh, my goodness. Aiden, come on.
So, guys, I'm not familiar with the show. Which one's Hunter and which one's Forrest? That way I get that right throughout.
Oh, my God. Yeah, so we've known this creep since we started comedy.
Yes,
This
we
is,
did start with Caleb.
We all started within 3 months of each other, and we've been doing it for 4 years here in Nashville.
Yes.
And this is the guy that we love for some reason.
And I'm a local open micer, and I appreciate you guys bringing me out to the podcast.
And your
teach
name is Andrew.
Tito Puente.
Yeah, Tito Puente.
Tito Puente.
Tito Puente. So let's start with Mr. Dorfman here.
Oh, Jesus, Mr. That's how
Let's
we're
start with Mr. Dorfman here.
Mr. Dorfman.
Okay, ladies
Wow.
and gentlemen. Yeah, he already said I called him old, so now I got to stick to it.
Yes.
And fat.
Experience is what in fact. What really just made you want to start getting into comedy and making one of the best clubs in the nation, Mr. Dorfman?
Well, it goes way back before this club. Heroin is actually what started, and the sad thing is I'm telling you the truth.
You used to do heroin?
I have. But
How awesome is it? Should I try it?
You have to
shooting it?
understand. No, you have to understand. Comedy has become a really cool big business, right?
Right.
When we started, and I started in 1986.
86?
Do I say
That's awesome.
1986,
Yeah, that's
87?
experience.
That's really not that long ago officially until next year.
That's
so you're good.
Is that
That's
it?
true,
Okay.
yeah.
So back then it was hip. It was cool. It was like jazz because they didn't have clubs. They didn't have comics on TV. They weren't doing movies. It was pretty much before all that. So most of the comics who started were people who couldn't make it in society. There's some great stories. A comic by the name of Frankie Bastille. Okay. If you guys want to go back and
Is he a
check him
Chicago guy?
No, Frankie was a Midwestern guy. He wasn't from Chicago, but he was a Vietnam vet.
Okay.
One of the funniest guys on the face of this
shit.
planet. He really was. But he'd call one of you guys and go, "Hey guys, I got a date in Akron and I need an MC. So, but you got to drive."
Okay.
So you go pick him up, and on the way there he goes, "Man,
Fair.
I need to get a pack of cigarettes over at the 7-Eleven. He'd run in, come running out, go, drive, because he just robbed the place.
Oh, dude. I was just about to ask, was he robbing places?
Yeah, he really did.
Oh,
No.
my God. That's what his cousin does. His cousin likes to rob places.
Shut up. That's not. It is a person that was married into my family. It is not a person I am blood related to.
Not by blood, but he does like to rob places for pills.
So can you tell us about the welding story real quick? Because that kind of ties into the crazy.
Welding story?
Okay, so I have a family I have interesting family members. I'll say that. I have a family member who once got arrested for armed robbery because the guy knew who he was because when he pointed the gun at him, his sleeve rolled up and he had his name tattooed on his arm.
That's hysterical.
This is the line of white trash.
That's hysterical.
So what happened with the safe?
So I used to work at Home Depot and we're talking to this guy and he was looking to buy a safe and he was asking me all these different questions about how much pressure does it take to open the door? How much pressure does it take to do this and that? And I just said to the guy eventually, I was like, look, man, I've seen people do this before. They just steal the safe and then break into it later. That's how they do it. So don't worry about it. It's if they're going to steal anything, they're just going to steal it and figure it out at a later date. Because I've literally walked into people's backyards and seen them welding things open with a welding iron.
His
or whatever
cousin
it is,
one time told him to come to a shop and help him do something, and what that something was
You got a chop shop going?
was weld a safe that he had just robbed open.
That's he said, "Hey, can you help me with something?" And I was like, "Sure." And then I walked back there and saw something, and I was like, I didn't see that."
So when you're on the
Is
road,
this how the cops actually get leads?
yes,
Right, they're going to watch this podcast,
Yes.
and they're going to go, "Hey, safe
that
got
story
robbed."
was made
we
up.
solved a crime of the guy who stole his car recently, actually. So
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
My car was stolen
Yeah.
a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And you solved it?
Well, we've kind of put together some clues of the type of person it was
Yep.
due to the
And then we had
hot
somebody
Cheetos
admit it.
bags
Yeah.
and menthol cigarettes that
Yeah.
were left in.
Wow, I'm
the,
not going there.
yeah.
You never know.
I'm not involved in that.
Peace out. I'm gone.
Hey.
He said, "I'm gone." No.
Like I said last time, I love hot Cheetos.
Hey, all I'm saying is that when you're hanging out with people like that, do you just because if you're driving him to the show, you're like all right, I guess we're robbing places because you're accessory.
You're
now
now an accessory. And
Yeah.
there's actually a couple people who have gotten in trouble hanging out with him through
With
the
this
years.
guy?
That's crazy.
No, Frankie's now passed.
Oh, R.I.P.
So,
Frankie.
like I said, I will not come and speak poorly.
Of course.
But Frankie, anybody who's been in the business 20, 25 years knows Frankie Bastille.
Okay.
He was a legend, and you know, he did heroin. There's a great story about him. He was in Cuyahoga Falls at Hilarities there, and he had a juggler opening up for him. And he was staying at the condo, and the juggler was opening up for him. And he called the juggler into his room, and as he walks in, he's got a hooker blowing him, and he's shooting up. He goes, "Now that's juggling."
Oh my God. Frankie sounds like a cool guy.
Frankie was the best. He was absolutely the best.
I definitely would rob a liquor store with this guy. This guy seems
But that's
fun.
that's truly juggling.
Oh my God.
Oh man, that really makes you want to be a comic in the '80s or so
No,
bad.
literally, it was very different back then. And look at a lot of the comics you guys see back then. They couldn't make it in real life. They didn't hold jobs. You know, you guys come out of college going, hey, you know what? I can do comedy for a little bit. It can get me into this. I can produce. I can get into commercials. We were just pure comics. You know, we didn't. There was maybe one club in each big city. Chicago had one. New York had one. L.A. had one.
What was the club in Chicago before y'all opened up shop? Like what?
Well,
Was
no,
it?
Zany's.
Okay,
Our
that's-
partner, the guy, his name Rick Hewitt, who
Okay.
he was a legend in this business. He started my brother and I. Everything that my wife and I and my brother have in our life, we owe to Rick Hewitt.
Rick Hewitt.
He started Zany's. I think he just had the 52nd anniversary.
Wow.
We had 41st year or 42nd, and they had the 51, 52. And actually, what happened is, have you guys ever been to Old Town? Down to the original Zany's?
Did you do
I've
it?
been there. We did Rosemont. I haven't done the old
we
town.
performed. Me and
okay.
Forrest performed at Rosemont, but we didn't. We went to Old Town. We
Okay,
didn't
so
perform.
that's the original club. And what happened was it used to be very seedy. It was a strip club.
Oh,
People don't know that.
Okay,
So-
I did not know that.
And the city came in, cleaned everything up, and Rick goes, "Well, I got a stage, and if you actually move the curtains from the stage, it's still got the mirrors back there from the strip
Oh,
club."
that's
Really?
awesome.
Yeah.
badass.
And the seats are still sticky from that. It's pretty crazy. So, but no, he went, "What do I do with it?" And he went, "You know what? I'm just going to turn it into a comedy club."
Really?
And it worked out. Yeah. And he's. The first meeting my brother and I ever had with him, it was pretty cool. We were going to open up a club in Vernon Hills, which is the northern suburbs, and he heard that we were going to open it up, and I was a young comic. Brian was just out of college, and he called us down, and he said, "Listen, guys," this is what he was going to say. If you guys open up in Vernon Hills, I'm going to open up in Libertyville and just knock you guys out of the box. But after meeting us, he liked us, and he said, "Okay, here's the deal. I'm going to be 51%. You guys are going to be 49%, but I'm going to teach you the business." And he did. And to this day, I still don't know whether he was wearing pants the day that we met. Because he sat behind and if you ever met him, smoked cigarettes, Vietnam vet, rolled a Jeep, Agent Orange, and long hair, always ratty, never dressed really well, spoke 7 different languages.
Oh shit.
I mean, just
Genius.
Not only genius, just he just looked at things differently. He was just a great human being who truly took a risk on 2 young guys. And Brian and I have been lucky enough. Brian owns Outback Concerts, which
Right.
is huge comedy concerts.
Shout out Brian.
We should, yeah. That's a love to my brother.
That's the clip right there.
That's a love to my brother. He is him. He's the man. It sucks being his older brother because he's been way more accomplished than I have. And but we own 10 or 12 other clubs, parts of pieces.
You're right.
Which have been great stories of how we've gotten clubs and stuff like that. Like we own a small piece of the Comedy Zone in Charlotte.
Yes, sir.
Which
Yes, sir.
people don't.
I performed there.
Yeah.
That's a
Great
great
club.
club.
I've
So-
heard that that's a very fun.
It's a very fun club.
So the owner there, Brian Heffron, great friend of ours.
Yeah, he's a great dude.
We had a club in West Palm Beach at the time, and the landlord wanted to build a club in Charlotte. And I called Brian. I said, "Brian, listen, we're not going to go in competition with you." So I flew up there. We met. We set up the whole thing and took care of it. And because of that, Brian gave us a couple points because That's how you work
Right,
in this
of
business.
course.
Because there's not a lot of owners of comedy clubs. That's still a pretty small business, and it's pretty cool. And most of us know each other.
So I was going to ask,
Yeah.
how many owners would you say there are in the country? Like, just if you had to throw a number out there.
Less than 100, I would think.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Okay, I take that back. What do you what type of clubs?
Like
know,
a legit
like-
A or B comedy club.
Well, if you think about it, okay, A or B comedy clubs, the true ones. Okay, so there's the Funny Bones,
Right.
right? There's Helium.
Yep.
There's Zanies. There's Improvs.
The Factory. you count Laugh Factory?
The
as-
Laugh Factory,
okay,
Jamie
yeah.
Masada,
Okay.
great guy. Been in the business a long, long time.
And like the Comedy Zone, I think that's like 6
Good-
people. Probably. I mean, that's probably the most.
Comedy
there
Zone
are.
is one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now there's people who license the name from him.
Yeah, I've seen that. I think I've seen this.
What do we got going
I was
on?
about to say, I didn't know. Is our GIMP acting up again?
I know. It,
the gift.
Yeah, is our GIMP? The hell's going on?
Shut
back
up. We'll let you out in 29 minutes.
there? Forrest, you were supposed to feed him.
Jeez.
Jeez Louise.
But
Him.
so if you think about, so if you, it's funny. But if
California
you
comedy on
think
Instagram,
about
guys.
it, what do you guys consider? The A clubs? Yeah, then
Of
there's
course.
definitely probably less than 100.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would definitely say that.
So because you have told some stories, I
Uh-oh.
don't want to misquote you, about how business was handled a little bit differently back then.
Yeah,
and
yeah, it's way
sometimes
different,
in
way
a physical manner if somebody screwed you over. And
Well,
I don't know if you want to get into any of that,
Probably
but
the way I handled it, probably the way Chris DePetta handled it. and
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know Chris DePetta
No,
out
sir.
of the
don't.
Punchline in Atlanta. He manages Billy Gardell.
Okay.
You guys know Billy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard the name, yes, sir.
So Billy, Mike and Molly?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so he is the police officer on Mike and Molly.
Okay.
And when we talk about incredibly great guys, truly one of the nicest men in this business, truly a brother,
Okay.
and absolutely the funniest guy, and people don't know that because he made it on Mike and Molly, and he didn't make it big as a comic.
That was one of my mom's favorite shows.
And I will tell you, as a comic, I will put him up against any other comic.
Just killer.
He is an absolute ripper. He's been in the business, and when he started, he thought he was Bill Hicks. He and I started out hating each other because I thought I was Bud Friedman, and I wanted to beat
Okay.
everybody up.
Yeah.
He thought he was Bill Hicks, and we fought, and then we just became great friends because back in the old days, you guys shoot each other and stab each other. When we were kids, we'd beat the crap out of
Yeah.
each other and then go, okay, let's go have a beer, and became friends.
That's the more
Yeah.
reasonable way. We're more a fist fight as well.
But
Yeah.
it's not like that nowadays.
No,
I think I think our friend group's like the exact opposite of that. It's like, it's like usually, I hated that guy and then I love him. I think we all liked each other right from the jump when we met. Anyway, at least
but we bonded through being very mean to each other.
Yes.
that is how we
Yes.
bonded. Yeah, we bonded.
we
Just
were,
started attacking immediately. It was
yeah,
like, oh, I like this guy.
immediate attack. Yeah.
and all of us could handle it. So we're like, oh, these guys.
Yeah, they're
can-
cool.
Yeah.
And
you know.
that's how you know if you can like somebody or get along with them.
Yeah.
Because sometimes in the green room, you got to wear a cup.
You do.
You know,
definitely.
because it can come hard.
You can
I
catch a stray out of nowhere.
mean, exactly.
You can catch a, dude, Crystal with an eyes in there, dude.
Crystal with-
You
I-
catch a stray quick.
I
I love her to death.
Yeah.
She and she's off the wall.
If I know she's gonna be there, I will like change what I wear.
Have you listened to her and Belly
Like
Button
I will make sure.
go at each other?
Oh,
With Belly
yeah.
and her
it's
go at each
crazy.
other.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's great. Everybody thought they were dating because they had such like
Good
roasting
rapport.
chemistry with each other.
That's what dating has become nowadays.
Dumb bitch, fat ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is.
It's not a great time.
Is that how you court people nowadays?
Here you go. Look at you, you stupid bitch.
Yeah.
I love you so much.
I love you so much. I love you, bitch.
No, but we did start off talking to Caleb because you look like you're reformed out of a biker gang.
But he
Like-
does.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
I mean,
I literally had this the other day. So I went to a metal show the other day on Sunday, and I went in and. I've never been around so many people that look exactly like me, and I've never been more.
that's called a clan rally.
Well,
That's not a
literally, I've never been around more people that look just like me, and I was like, I've never been more afraid than I am right now. And I was
nobody
like,
else feels.
He can't see the faces at the Klan rally, at least. You know.
I was literally like, is this what it's like for people that see me that don't know me in public? Because this has to be insane, and I feel so bad for them.
I mean, you have some remorse, so that's good.
Yeah.
You know, some self-awareness will help.
I'm not a mean person. I don't understand why you.
We never said you were mean, Caleb. You feel
You
attacked.
look it.
You did.
I know that I look scary.
You look like you were in prison and raped.
No comment on the second thing.
So you enjoyed it.
He said, he
It's
did.
only rape when you say no.
Yeah.
Wait, so when
you can't rape the
say-
willing.
So when you said that you used to rough people up, or it did or didn't,
Yeah.
allegedly.
Was there a guy that looked like me with you when you did
No,
that?
no.
So how often did something like this happen? And maybe what's a scenario of something that would warrant something like that? Just as
we have to take somebody out.
There's one story in particular I'm thinking of that you
Which one
told
do you
us.
which one- which
It
one?
was in New York, you said, and somebody said they were going to pay you ticket sales and did not.
Oh, you're talking about. I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
I mean, well, I don't know how many people you beat up, and I don't remember all the details. But basically, somebody owed you some money and did not come through on their end of the deal, and you went down to their office and.
I think you're thinking a little bit differently.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
I had a club in Florida.
Maybe it was Florida.
Okay.
Okay.
And there was another club, and a guy's name was Palazzo. I forget his.
Palazzo's wild.
He owned
Yeah.
the comedy, the comic strip in Fort Lauderdale. I was in Davie, Florida, and back then we used to do telemarketing.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the telemarketers was working for me. Really worked for him and took all of our leads.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
yes.
Took all of our leads, and
So he was using them for
Well, I found out about it the next day, and I literally walked into the club, grabbed him by the throat, and literally, I mean, I roughed him up pretty good, and I said, "I'm going to leave you here completely, totally bloody if you do not bring me back my leads." And he did. So, and actually, this is a really funny.
How old were you in that time frame? Do you think?
7.
Okay. good answer. Good answer.
Probably 26 to 30.
Oh yeah,
around
statute
there.
of limitations.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
No.
Very good.
But so Joe Bashkoff, who's been my
Allegedly.
Joe Bashkoff, who's been my partner for 25 years, when he started, and he runs the Stand Up Live in
Huntsville?
No, the Stand Up Live in Phoenix.
Okay.
Tempe Improv, a couple clubs in Florida, and truly one of my best friends. When I had Uncle Funny's down in Davie, and he was the assistant manager at the Improv in Miami.
Okay.
And I don't remember what acts we have, but let's say I had Bruce and he had Cheryl Underwood, something like that. But we both had urban acts, and they went on the radio and said, "We'll accept passes from any other club." So I walked down to their club, and I stood in front of their escalator with Uncle Funny's passes, going, "Here's free passes, here's free
Right,
passes,
right.
here's free passes." And
Barking.
after about a half hour, they realized they were selling 0 tickets because everybody was getting a pass. Joel and his security guards came down, and Joel was the assistant manager. There was a guy by the name of Joe Chadwick, who I truly hated.
Okay.
I mean, we did not get along. And
Was
Joel,
there a reason, or he just?
he was. You'll understand the ethics of it, because the reason why he did that is because he thought he could knock me out of the box. And so when Joel came down with his security, and they're like, "You can't do that," I'm like, "You get out of here, and I'm going to beat the fuck out of you and your security guard and everybody else." And they ran away, and I said, "Now, please get me Joe," and Joe didn't come the whole weekend. So literally the whole weekend, I just stood there and handed out passes the whole weekend. But then, like 2 months later, Joe got fired, and I called Joel, and I said, "Joel, okay, we can do one of two things. We can either be friendly competitors, or we can be the way we and Joe did it." And not only did we become friendly competitors, and we started working, you take this act, I'll take this act, and we worked together. We actually then did the West Palm Beach Improv together. We did the Seminole Improv together at the Seminole Hard Rock Casino, and we've been partners ever since.
That's
so,
awesome, man.
You know, through some negative can come some good.
Yeah.
So to this day, y'all work together?
To this day.
Really?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Man, that's crazy. It is crazy how it seems like back then too. There was a lot more of like getting over stuff pretty quickly, like not holding a grudge for the rest of your life.
Well, first of all, there wasn't cameras, so there was no proof.
That checks out.
I mean, it's true. I mean, literally, if I did this stuff, and it's not only me, my generation.
Right.
Okay, if we did this stuff today, you know,
That's why we can't do it.
you guys
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
You guys literally cannot get away with what we get away with. I mean, you had a fight in the high school, and two guys, meet me at the tree at
Of
3
course,
o'clock,
yeah.
and boom, and there's a big fight, and everybody's yelling and screaming. Then you walk away with a couple black eyes,
Yeah.
and maybe you lose a tooth or whatever, and that's that. you guys can't do that nowadays.
Yeah.
You know?
Not without it getting filmed by everybody that's around you, and then it's on. Because that happened at my high school, my senior year. There was that exact thing, like meet here at 3, and everybody went, and it was on the news. Because one of the kids got like knocked out and stomped on and all that.
There you go.
And yeah, it was like.
And then there's bullying, and, you know,
Of
and
course.
sometimes there's got to be bullying.
Yeah,
I believe in that.
That guy
Of
needed to
course.
have his ass beat.
You
He
know,
did.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no consequences to your guys' generation. Listen, if you listen to the theory of this, and I'm going to say this to your listeners, listen to the theory of it because I know it's not practical.
Right.
Okay? Somebody's going to call up and go, he's an asshole. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Everybody should carry a gun.
I
If
don't
everybody
disagree.
carried a gun, wait, no, people would there'd be consequences.
I'm gonna slide closer to Hunter.
Yeah.
But that's a real thing because people are more polite in the South and the Northeast
Yes.
because there's the possibility somebody might pull a revolver out.
Right.
That
Right.
is
So
true.
I still play hockey to this day.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. That's impressive. Awesome.
Thank
by
you.
the way.
But you know what? Every once in a while, even at our age, you know, I play in an over 60 league.
Were you the enforcer?
Yeah.
Over 60.
Yeah. You got a problem with the over 60? Do you?
I was just clarifying the ages. I didn't hear.
Do you?
I thought you said 16.
He's 5 years away. So yeah, 16.
But you know, you're on the ice. You stick somebody, you get hit.
Right.
You know, it's-
Consequences.
Yeah, and listen, I understand that everybody can't carry a gun and all that stuff, but you know, everybody nowadays, everybody has a podcast,
Yeah.
or everybody
Right.
on social media, everybody has to say what they have to say, and listen, some of it's good, but sometimes people don't need to be heard.
Of course. No, we
Most.
agree. That's why you should
Most.
have a gun and kill him. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
I don't believe in the electric chair. I think we should have the electric bleachers and just line up all the stupid people. And
Okay.
take them out. How's
Just
that?
one
Just take them all
one
out.
time.
How's that?
No, hey, I don't disagree with that. What do you think about that, Caleb?
I got some opinions about it.
Yeah.
Let's get into
Now, my opinion is Sean Parrott's bit the other night where he said we should line up all the poor people, and anybody who said the word whopper, whopper, whopper more than 5 times in the last year should be shot.
It's not a bad gauge. It's not a
'Cause
bad
you're-
gauge at all.
well, I happen
Just,
to li-
it's
I
just
happen
I
to
give that a
like
dom
Whopper.
You big
He said,
whopper
"I
fan?
have it
I'm not a poor guy, and I happen to like a Whopper.
So-
That's why you're eliminated.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Oh,
It's
Yeah.
all poor people.
Oh,
Yet
yeah.
it's below a certain tax bracket.
Yeah.
Except I think that's what's going on right now. I think the wealthy is being excluded. They get to do their own thing, and everybody else is suffering.
That's
if you
true.
want a Whopper,
You
wouldn't
should
have
stop
a
doing that to us.
Whopper.
No. You know what? I say that. You guys might not know this, but I have a show called The United Colors of Comedy. Do you guys know about that?
Mm-hmm.
I bring on, black, white, gay, straight, and everything, and we talk about all these different things. And I truly am the white guy keeping everybody down. I'm that guy. I mean, if you think about it, what role do I play? I'm that man.
He
If you-
said, "I am the gatekeeper." That is me.
If you think I represent that, I just think a little bit differently.
Oh, I thought you meant in terms of volume. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need to talk on speakerphone right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
He said you could say whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
So
They play it pretty fast and loose.
Yeah.
What did you think? Like right now, you said it was completely different. What is like the biggest difference in comedy from when you started to now? Like, is it social media? Is it?
Well, our business completely
Of
changed.
course.
But it's not only social media. So when our club started, we were Wednesday through Sunday. We would bring in one headliner who would work Wednesday through Sunday, 2 shows Friday, 3 shows Saturday.
Wow.
And that's what we did. And most of them weren't draws. Most of them they'd come to Zanies to see who's funny. There were a few draws. The Zanies here in Nashville. Who built Zanies? Okay, it was Killer Bees,
Okay, yeah.
Tim Wilson,
Okay.
James Gregory. Those are the guys.
Yeah.
Henry Cho. The Southern comics,
course.
right?
Yeah.
Well, now it's not just Southern comics here, right? Look at who comes in here.
Right.
So social media has changed and acquainted people with all different types of acts. But let's look at, now we're open Monday through Sunday. We'll have a podcast show. We'll have a show who's got a TikTok person, and they'll bring. So the biggest way to put it is, we would open up the doors 20 years ago. We'd have 200 people in there, and they were from all walks of life.
Okay.
So as a comic, you got to appeal to everybody.
Right.
Well, now, if you're a TikTok person, you're bringing in your specific crowd. They like you, and you speak just to them.
Yeah.
So comics don't have to be as creative and as worldly. because they're speaking. I think we did a show called I think it was the Doughboys or something like that, and it was literally 20. They were 25 to 35-year-old white guys who talked about video games and not getting laid, and they had their concert T-shirts on, and the whole crowd was 25 to 35, little bit of paunch to them, maybe a tattoo or two, and not getting laid.
Yeah.
You would be our poster child.
I would just like to be the poster child for something.
Actually, you know what? To be truthful, I think you could be our centerfold.
Ooh,
You could be the layup.
centerfold.
Whoa, is this how entertainment works? Because I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with that.
Hey, well,
But so that has changed our bit. But it's changed it for the better, I think, in some ways, and for the worse in others. For as a comedy club owner, it's great. I mean, I'm open 7 nights a week. We do,
Right.
We do brunch shows. We do, and the cool thing about a comedy club, and I've been very fortunate for this, and I challenge anybody to tell me a business that is like this. When nightclubs make it big, and it's the big, we got to go see here, and in about 2 years it goes down, and they got to redo it. We redo ourselves every week, every day, because we bring in every week. It's a black act, it's a white act, it's a gay act.
that makes sense.
It's a Chinese act. I say this, and I mean it. If by the end of a year, there is not somebody that you like, that appeals to you, that makes you laugh, you should die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you think about it,
It's everything.
we represent everybody. And that's been great for me in my life, because I've been able to sit in that green room, and I have been open to so many different, opinions and cultures.
Just walks of
and
life.
ideas. And it's molded my opinion and where I get my thoughts, and why I think we need to change a lot of the things economically that we're doing, and help other people, and bring it's different nowadays. You guys don't have the same opportunities that we do. You truly do not. Listen, I got 3 boys,
Right. Right.
and they do not have the same opportunities that we did. It's very different. Walmart has ruined the fabric of America.
I'm right there with you. I'm a big anti-Buc-ee's guy.
Yeah,
He's when we do the road and stuff, he refuses to stop.
He
at
won't
Buc-ee's.
stop.
It's very
He won't
funny.
go.
I loathe Buc-ee's.
He won't.
and theoretically, why?
For one of the same reason you hate Walmart. I think it's a similar thing. But also, it's there's the worship of Buc-ee's, which disgusts me to my core. because it's,
That I don't
it
get.
is a fucking gas station, and I see people wearing head-to-toe Beaver stuff. But there was one time.
I like Beaver.
Yeah. Hey,
Hey,
who doesn't?
Him. You know what? You sold me. No, there was one time I walked in there. I was hungover. I was actually driving back from Charleston with Connor, and we walked in there on a Sunday. I mean, it was packed wall to wall, and there was this group of like 15 400-pound monsters going, brisket, brisket. They were chanting brisket and beating the like buffet line where it came out, and I was like, I hate this place. I don't ever want to come back here again. I mean, there were so many people in like scooters in there. It was just horrible.
So that's not what bothers
My
me.
family went whenever we were traveling on vacation. We had a great time. I
You're the
loved it.
demographic. You're the ones beating yelling
You
brisket.
like the brisket?
Listen, no, I'm just saying. I come from a
Brisket's
long,
not bad.
I come
No.
from a long line of white trash people. I don't know if you know that about me. I don't know if you can tell by my general demeanor and the way that I dress. But yeah, because let's get into it. I grew up in a very small town, South Carolina.
He did.
And my family's basically every redneck stereotype you can imagine. My dad loves NASCAR and beer. Me and my brother are both covered in tattoos. I was like, and just stuff like that. My granddad went to jail when I was little. I have cousins that have been in and out of jail and all that other stuff. So,
Why haven't you been to jail? Why didn't you commit?
you know,
You're
I'm
too
just,
smart.
I'm very
He is.
scared. I think that's the big thing.
Yeah, same.
And I am smart, and I'm also just incredibly terrified. And I never got addicted to pills, which I think is a big one. That usually is the starting point.
He said
That's really the go on the Monopoly board of prison. And
That is, and since you brought up pills, can we go back to the heroin?
yes.
You said you didn't, so you snorted heroin once, twice. What was your experience?
Yeah.
How awesome is
Let's
it?
just say in the late 80s, early 90s, I was on the road.
Uh-huh.
And every town I would go into, I would meet wonderful people and whatever drug of choice they happened to have. so you guys don't know this, how I actually started. I learned the business from a different way because it's hard to get booked for you guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how
Help.
well,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
you don't want to go it my way.
Okay.
So I actually learned the backside of the business, the food and beverage business.
Okay.
So I called every club owner and go, look, if you guys book me, I'm going to do a 45, 50-minute show, rock the room. People might not remember me, but they'll have a good time. I'm easy to work with. I don't care where you put me. And your drink rings. Everybody who is in the room, you'll get $2 to $3 more per head with me because I would walk up on stage with a bottle of tequila and I would start doing shots and toasts. You guys have seen me go up.
Right.
I still go up, and the first thing I do,
Right.
I do a toast with the crowd. I close with a toast. Well, I literally used to drink half a bottle to 3/4 of a bottle of tequila during a show. When you're partying like that, people in the crowd go, oh, that guy's a partier.
Right.
And then afterwards they go, hey, you want to go out? You want to go do this? You want to go do that? So I'm not going to tell you everything that I've done, but I will say I've done everything.
Right.
Okay.
Half a
A
bottle.
lot of beaver.
Actually, I was horrible with the puss.
Really?
I was the absolute worst.
I
That
never
is
would've guessed that.
I could not close that deal.
Really?
I could, yeah. Well, first of all, I'm married to the love of my life
Of
for 35
course.
years.
Of course.
And she's a cock blocking bitch anyways.
Yeah.
No. I'll tell you this story, and I'll tell you, this is the genius of a woman. Okay, I mean, she is my best friend. She's amazing. But I was on the road when we first got married. She goes, listen, I understand. I see what you are. I see how much you party. I see what you do. She goes, listen, if you're out and you really find somebody and you want to sleep with them or cheat on me, she goes, you can. However, you have to have them call me and ask me for permission.
I mean, that's
is
Genius.
That is
Genius.
genius.
Cock blocking bitch, right?
Yeah.
Because
Dude.
the couple times I tried it.
Did
right?
you really?
Of course, you're that hammer. You're like, yeah, I'd love to bang you, but you got to call my wife and ask her if it's okay. And they're like, huh?
Would they
I'm
do
like,
it?
yeah, here, well, let's go over there because it was this type of phone.
There you go.
Exactly. Hello, operator.
Operator.
Can I get 4443?
Yeah.
But
Connect me.
I mean, she's a cock blocking bitch, but it's a genius.
That is
She
genius.
is genius, and nobody ever took up, so I never had the opportunity.
Oh my God.
But no, that's the women thing. But it met lots of people, had great times. I mean, I've been skydiving and skiing,
Rocky
and they
Mountain
take
climbing.
you, right, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And people would take you wakeboarding, and when you're there for the weekend, you'd hang out with them, and you'd take me trout fishing, and it was great. It was wonderful on the road like that.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah.
God bless. Aiden, how are we doing? We need to wrap it up. Yep. All right. Dorfman.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Caleb,
We'll do it
thank you
again.
guys so much.
Barely
We'll
got
definitely
into it.
have you on again. Do you have
Caleb,
anything you want to say?
Definitely you too. No, this was a great episode. Next time we're on this podcast, Auburn will be national champions.
I hope
That's
so.
all I
For what?
say. Basketball.
Nah.
No,
he's
we
a
will.
Duke.
I say nay.
Yeah, he's a Duke guy.
Are you a Duke guy?
I'm not a Duke guy. I've just been watching
This
it, and
year
I think
he's a Duke
I
guy.
think no,
They are really
I
good.
think that they're the best.
It might be.
Statistically,
I
yeah.
think that watching them play as a team and the way they move, I just think that they're better. And Auburn stinks anyways.
Oh well,
Okay,
hey, we're SEC
I guess we're
guys.
gonna find out, aren't we?
Hey, we love you. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
guys
guys
for coming.
See you
Have
next
back.
week.
Appreciate it.
Bye.